Hey guys, it's me, Pokemon. I'm here to talk about upgrading and modifying characters in DC Unchained. This will be the second part of our ultimate guide to DC Unchained. I'm excited to bring this to you guys today. So, today I'm going to be going through all the ways you can increase your character's power level or modify your characters. This isn't going to be a super in-depth view because I want this to be like a general overlook. But I'm going to talk about each little thing, and there are going to be some topics that are deep enough that I feel they're worth another video, and I plan to talk about in the future. But just by watching this, you should be able to get a good idea of how you're going to be upgrading your characters in DC Unchained. So first off, we have level. You can increase this by either using your characters in missions or by spending XP books on them. And essentially by doing this, you'll lift gates on other modifications for the characters, like you can't increase their rank until they're a certain level. Plus, it'll increase their character's power. That's probably the main reason why you're going to be doing it. And as of now, the level cap is level 60. You can see me trying to level up my Superman. There's the XP books, and then I little tap them, click use, boom, you use the XP books, more XP. That's how it works. Pretty straightforward. It's hard to screw up this one. Next up, we have ranking. Now, this does get a little more complicated. Whenever your character reaches a certain level, they're then able to increase their rank, and you'll spend their family's silver or gold cards. Like, for example, Batman, you'll spend Batman cards in order to upgrade. Or Robin, you'd also spend Batman cards. So let's say you wanted to rank up your character to rank S from rank A. You'd need to hit level 60 first before you could then upgrade their rank. And I believe from rank A to rank S, it is 15 gold cards as of now and 40 silver cards. But don't stick to these values of how much it costs to upgrade, because the developers were still in technically kind of beta-ish. So they're changing this stuff, so don't be too stuck on the values I'm saying. But what does matter is the fact that this doesn't affect your level cap, and this is essentially a stat boost, plus it will unlock Velarium slots to be unlocked. I'll explain that a little later. And it can unlock new skills for your character, so this is a big thing to get up. Plus, this is the big thing people are probably going to look at your roster for, like how many S-rank characters do you have and stuff like that. So just a good thing to do. It'll give you a big power bump, so make sure you rank up your characters when you're able to. Here you can see a hypothetical scenario where I'd be ranking up my Superman from rank A to rank S, and you can see that I need to be level 60 to do it, and I need to have a certain amount of silver and gold cards to do it. And then once I do that, you can see I get a pretty big stat boost. So, good things to do. Ranking is nice. Next up, we have uniforms. Now, this is different from how a lot of other games do it. When you buy a uniform for a character, you equip them, but it's more like a second character. So essentially, you can equip one uniform to a character at a time. And when you send the character into a mission with a uniform, they don't start out in the uniform, but then you can switch into the uniform version of the character at any time throughout the mission. And you can switch between uniformed and ununiformed form of a character. So essentially, you can have two characters in one. They both share the same health bar, but you can have more skills to switch through. And like, for example, some people might have healing abilities on some of their skins, so those are good skins to get, because then essentially you have a damage dealer and a healer built into one character. These are going to be purchasable with gold cards, but when they first come out, the only way you can get them is uniform tickets. Then you have to wait a month, then you can get them with gold cards. So if you do have uniform tickets, I'd wait until new uniforms come out, but otherwise just purchase them with gold cards. This isn't necessary for characters, but I do like the uniform versions of characters. Like, for example, I prefer the Batman mech form over just base Batman. So if you enjoy a character, feel free to pick up a uniform for them and then add a little bit more value to the character. Here we can see Superman, how I can equip his uniform if I wanted to. 5 gold cards or a uniform ticket to buy it, and then there's 3 new skills, plus it looks like a new passive skill that comes with it. Next up, we have covers. Now these sound complicated, but they're really not that complicated. Every character in the game has 3 covers as of now that you can collect for them. And the way this works is covers randomly drop. You'll just get like Flash's cover, like the first cover for like his original story. And then when you get a cover, the first time you get a cover for a character, it unlocks that cover. And essentially that'll give you a stat boost. So there's let's say for a character, there's cover A, cover B, and cover C. The first time you get cover A in-game, you'll unlock cover A and you'll get a stat boost for it. But cover B and cover C are not unlocked. And then you can collect all the covers for a character, plus they can be upgraded by collecting duplicates of covers. So let's say you collected 4 more cover A's for Flash, then you could upgrade cover A to a new rank, which would then increase the stat boost. So essentially, just collect as many covers as you can, and they should help you to gain stat boosts. Now, these aren't massive stat boosts, but you're definitely going to want them if you want the character to be the strongest they can possibly be. So again, that sounds a little complicated, but once you get into the game, it's pretty straightforward. Here we can see 3 covers that Superman has, and you can see that for his one cover right there in the bottom right, that I've unlocked that cover, but then if I want to rank it up, I'll need to collect 4 more copies of his cover. See, it's kind of hard to make examples for this because all the covers have like the actual names of their story, and I don't know any of the names of their stories off the top of my head. Next up, you can upgrade the character's leadership / team member passive. So what does that mean? Every character in this game has a passive, and their passive changes depending on whether or not they're put in a leadership position or if they're put in a member position. So whenever you upgrade this, that'll increase the stats of both of those passives, and this adds a little bit more to building teams to try to keep an eye on like, will this character be more useful as a leader or more useful as a member? So this is an interesting way to add some depth to characters. This is pretty straightforward to upgrade. You're just going to use family cards, as you can see right here. Again, don't look at the price. They're going to be changing this soon, so it should be cheaper. So don't worry too much about this. Values are always going to change, but the general way that you're upgrading things should always stay the same. As you can see, it buffs Superman's leadership. Now, instead of it happening every 45 seconds, it's going to happen every 40 seconds, so it's even better now. Your leader passive and your team member passive both share the same level, so if you upgrade one of the passives, then they both get upgraded. Next up, you can upgrade active skills, very similar to upgrading passives. You just put some cards in, boom, it increases the damage of the skills. Really straightforward, nothing too complex here. As you can see right here, if I wanted to upgrade Superman's Power Punch skill, it would go from doing 290 to 340% of his attack power to doing 310 to 360% of his attack power and damage. Next up, we have gear. Now, this is something really complicated. I'm going to try to explain it the best I can, but I do plan on doing a video just on gear in the future. But as of now, every character has 5 skills in the game. And then for every skill, there are 3 gears. Now, what does this mean? Essentially, each gear can provide a stat boost to the skill, and then each gear also provides a different effect to a skill. Then you can only have 3 gears equipped, but that matches with the fact that you can only have 3 skills equipped, so you'd equip 1 gear for each of the skills that you're using. So gear can be switched out at any time for a character, and you don't get the unique change to a skill until you get to max rank, and it's relatively expensive because as of now they cost gold cards. Again, that might change in the future, but I'm going to show you the next page, and that should make it a little easier to understand. Here we can see with Superman's laser vision skill, there are 3 different gears. I could pick 1 to equip to that skill. I can either choose to add damage over time to it, I could choose to have it knock down nearby enemies, or a third passive that I didn't take a screenshot of. So you can pick one of those, upgrade to level 5, and then you'll get that additional effect to the character. So when you see in the character trial, what would you call it, area, it says gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, that's allowing you to try out all these versions of the characters. So again, this adds a lot of depth to the characters, and that's why I think they wait a bit to allow you to unlock it, because it's, I mean, this stuff is pretty complex. But don't worry, I do plan on doing a video about this in the future to make it really simple for you guys to understand. Finally, with Velarium, this is similar to ISO 8 if you played Future Fight. You can equip these on your characters to provide stat boosts. You can upgrade the Velarium. You want to put the same colored Velarium into a colored slot, like there'll be a blue slot. You want to stick blue Velarium into there. The one big complaint I have as of now with Velarium, again, this might not be permanent, is you have to spend crystals to unlock Velarium slots. So this I'm not a huge fan of, but again, might change in the future. I hope it does change in the future. But you get the idea from here. You drag the little Velarium you want to equip into the slot. Boom, it goes in. Stat boost. You want to try to match the color? So it seems relatively simple, but it can get a little complicated. That's why I also plan on making a video about Velarium in the future. Finally, we have tactics. I know, there's a lot of stuff you got to keep track of for your characters. So this is actually unique to, I believe it's unique to DC Unchained. I've never seen something like it before. It's really interesting. You can equip these on your characters to change the way they autoplay. Now this is actually, I think, a really cool system. So let's see what that would look like in game. So you can see the tactics you own down below. You drag it up, equip it in the slot, kind of like Velarium. I believe these can be removed with no cost. Don't quote me on that. But each will provide a unique effect to the character when they're autoplaying. For example, with Crisis Control that I equipped, when HP is low, they'll use an HP potion automatically. Every character starts out with Crisis Control number 1. When HP is low, tag the member on standby. As of right now, tactics are kind of hard to come by in the game, so I do hope they change that in the future. So just be careful who you're equipping tactics on, and don't just go throwing them onto any character, and make sure to think about it. There's some really interesting stuff here you could do with these tactics, so just think about it when you equip tactics on the characters. So that's the end of the second part of the DC Unchained Ultimate Guide. I hope this is helping you get through the entire game. I hear a lot of people talk about what do I do, just follow the guide in the game, but that's getting removed in the next update, but it's getting pushed into achievements. So just follow the achievements, I guess, that talk about, hey, get this character, hey, complete this mission, hey, do this. That's generally a good way to get through the game, but hopefully with these guides, I've allowed you to ascend in terms of your DC Unchained knowledge. So make sure you subscribe if you want to keep up to date with this guide or anything that's happening with DC Unchained, because I'll be reporting on that. But at the end of the day, guys, what do I know about DC Unchained? I am just a 16-year-old. Signing off, guys.